us. He is the head.
Oh yeah, if we got a special guest, yes.
Because you keep babbling, we're gonna get our guest on if you keep going for 25 more minutes.
He can wait. He's got what else he got to do today? He can wait. Is.
Robbie Cutchins of the Region 1B champion Franklin Broncos, who knocked off Alta Vista, beat Brunswick in the semis. And by the way, this guy beat Ed Young a couple years ago in the Western Branch Showcase. We say good morning and congrats to Coach with us here. How's it feel to be going to the state playoffs? And more importantly, the morning after a region championship there to celebrate with all the loyal, passionate fans of Franklin High.
Good morning, guys. Appreciate you having me on, Matt. Coach Young, how's everything going?
Well, Matt said, you coached against me a couple of years ago, beat me. That's why I'm out of coaching. I got fired because my principal's exact words was, how the hell does Franklin beat you off? Good luck playing him again later because you won't be representing Anns River no more. So I walked out the door. So,
no, man,
I still love you, my man, because I like the way you do things, and you're one of those high character guys, and those are the type of people that we need in a profession. So I'm glad I see you. And by the way, Rob, just so we get this straight, I picked you all the way to where you are now. This guy
didn't. He's right. He said you were going to beat Brunswick, and I was a little skeptical of it. But before we get into your team now, what you're doing, which is fantastic, fill the audience in on the last few years. You've had some really good players, including Shavon Torrance, who tore it up against Ed. He's playing Division II college ball right now.
Yeah, man, Chavon's doing a great job. Matter of fact, I just got off the phone with him. He FaceTimed me about 30 minutes ago. He was mad because I didn't answer the phone last night when he called, but he's doing good. He's down at Augusta University. He's doing phenomenal for them. He started probably half the games this season. He's playing 15 to 20 minutes a game, but he's doing a great job.
That's tremendous to hear. But this group, you don't have maybe a marquee name of that caliber, but they're clicking at the right time of the year because the season didn't start off great for you all, but you sort of hit your stride around mid-January, correct?
Yeah, we did, man. And like you said, we've had some talent the last few years, and we didn't really know what our identity was going to be this year. Honestly, we had some seniors, but those seniors hadn't really played. They've been a part of the program, so they've experienced some success, but still not getting that floor time and that experience. We didn't really know where we were going. And setting the schedule up early this year, man, I kind of was kicking myself because I like to play up a little bit. I like to play the bigger schools. We started out with 3A Lakeland. I played 4A Smithfield, 5A Indian River. We played Grassfield twice. And, my assistant coaches were like, we're not cut out for that this year, And I said, I understand, but we're going to set ourselves up for the latter part of the season. Honestly, we had no idea that we were going to be able to win 6 hot to end the season and kind of hang our hats on defense. And that's what we've done all year. We've flown around. We played really good defense. And the kids have bought in. They don't care who does what each night. All they want to do is be successful and win. And that's what it takes when you're trying to build a great culture.
Awesome. Let's get some of those names, highlight some of the players that have contributed thus far, be it from the guards to the forwards, the wings, the bigs, and who should we watch out for as you get ready to take on Northumberland in the state quarterfinals, correct?
Yeah, man. So, we're led by number 4, Christian Grant. He's kind of our do-it-all guard, if you will. He's been a 2-year starter for me, and he's really kind of grown into his own and taken that leadership role. Big man inside, number 23, Kamari Hicks. He's actually been a 4-year player for me. We got him in there early because of his size. We were trying to develop him, and he got some good minutes as a sophomore. But the last 2 years, he's been a big part of what we've done. So that's led to some of our success. And like you said, it's no marquee names. It's no big names across the board that guys are talking about. A lot of times they can't even call their names. They might just mention numbers, but the names are not recognized. They know what we do. They know we hang our hat on defense and we just get after it. We got 3 guys averaging 10, 11 points a game, but other than that, we just play hard.
That can be the formula for success, Ed. As you know, you get balance this time of the year, it can take you a long way.
For sure, without a doubt.
One of the reasons I picked him without knowing exactly what he had was because of him, that whatever he has, he's going to do something with it. And you made a great statement. If you're not magical on offense, if you don't have that one, a big go-to guy, you really got to build it with the defense because that's the great equalizer. And then you hope you just be able to outscore him by at least 1 point. But I've known you over the years. I've played you a few times, scrimmaged you a few times. You guys do have some athletes out there that you end up figuring it out after a while who's going to score. So you've got the scoring spaced out. Now, as you took on that tough schedule, Rob, beginning of the year, you're playing up, which I know you always like to do. And then you had some tough losses early. How do you get it through to your kids that, hey, look, this is why we're doing this. This is how we're doing it. Because we always have coaches a great master plan. But then when we try to put it into play, the kids blow it out of the water. And then it's hard to reel kids in. Then you have fan bases saying, y'all, kids in school laughing at them, y'all losing. Parents may be saying, I don't know what your coach is doing. You should be playing. How do you knock all that stuff out of the way and get those kids to say, look, this is where we got to worry about later on?
You know, Coach, that's a great question. And it's something that we preach on all the time, you know, and we talk about culture. And the biggest thing about culture is understanding that things are a process. You know, nothing's going to happen overnight. But basketball season, if you look at different high school sports from fall to winter to spring, basketball season is the longest season of the high school year. So you just show them that it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's longevity. And then if you deal with trials and tribulations throughout that, it makes it a little tougher. And we did. You know, we lost our point guard for 3 games during that early stretch this year. We were playing those bigger schools, and that really did hurt. You know, but at the same token, it gave some other young guys the opportunity to get some floor time. And one of them was a freshman. You know, I mean, he got thrown in the fire and started against Grassfield, and it was the deer in the headlights, but he was learning. And I tell kids all the time, you know, life's not always going to go the way that you want it, but how you deal with adversity is going to show you a true character. So to answer the question, Ed, you just have to continuously preach that. And if kids buy into that and they understand that and they see that, hey, you know, Cut's not giving up on me, the rest of the coaching staff's not giving up on me, then we're going to stay at it. We're going to stay course. We're going to keep doing what we do. And when we get into district play, we're going to have some success, you know. And it's like Matt said, you know, I probably wouldn't have picked us on the outside looking in when we played Brunswick the 3rd time either. You know, it's because you got 2 teams that have turned into a big rivalry over the years, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Extremely hard, especially when you got to go to their place. And I told them before we went over there, I said, I don't care if the score is 10-8. I said, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out defensive affair, and it turned out to be for sure.
Yeah, it really did. As Franklin is now moving on to the state quarterfinals, they'll take on Northumberland Tuesday. Will that be in your gymnasium on Tuesday, or is it not decided yet?
It's going to be at a neutral site. I'm pushing hard for Southampton right down the road. We got the first approval on that, so I'm just waiting on the second. So we hope to be at Southampton High School on Tuesday.
Sure. Well, we'll tell the folks to check out the Virginia High School website, VHSL.org. I'm also have it up on VirginiaPreps.com for folks. Once those official times and dates and locations are announced, they'll be up there on our bracket for you, which you see Lancaster, Alta Vista, George Wither, Perry McClure will host Chilhowie, and Patrick Henry Glade Spring will host the runner-up of the Region C championship with and Perry McClure. I know you're a student of the game and you watch the Class 1 picture. It feels like, you know, Lancaster the last couple of years with Troy Henderson, who's now at John Marshall, they were the prohibited favorite. They won back-to-back titles. They're a surprise to beat Northumberland here. What do you make of these quarterfinal games where it feels like Class 1's pretty wide open, but a lot of people feeling like the favorites are out west with the big schools like and Patrick Henry. I say big school because Patrick Henry has 2 twin towers in the paint.
Yeah, you know, well, first of all, when I logged on with you guys this morning, you scared me to death because I heard y'all talking about 100 and 110 points. And I'm thinking, damn, it takes us 3 games to score that many points. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, the Northern Neck is really, really good. The Northern Neck has produced athletes for years. Lancaster has a heck of a program. And Coach has done a phenomenal job since he's taken over there. And you know me, man, I've been watching film since 6 o'clock this morning. I thought I'd sleep in late as we got back last night, but my mind was racing. So Northumberland and Lancaster both are really good basketball teams. And, you know, they're able to change the pace, up tempo, slow it down. But, you know, the teams out west, like you said, George Wythe was very good last year, knocking on the doorstep, and they got everybody back as well. So I think it can be, you know, it's wide open in one for sure this year.
It is, Ed.
Well, my thing too, Rob, I was going to ask you, had you have a chance to look, let's just stay with your opponent, Northumberland, and maybe some things they present to you, if you can divulge some things that they do.
You know, it's kind of like we were talking about earlier. You know, a lot of times some of your better teams in the state and teams that are ranked throughout the year normally have a marquee name or 2 in their lineup. Northumberland has one of those guys in London. Number 1, he can go. I feel like everything they do offensively goes through him. He can score, he can create his own basket, but he can also get other guys, you know, get them shots as well. You know, so the question becomes at that point in time, do you focus on, you know, one man? Do you try to change the tempo? You try to slow it down, or what, you know, do you stick to what you've been doing and been successful with all year? those are the $1 million questions. But yeah, Northumberland's a dangerous basketball team and very athletic as well.
Yeah, Tyreek Lundy, the young man you speak of, quarterback on the football team, has already scored 1,000+ points as a junior. And they were winning that game at halftime, I saw, Coach. And then third quarter, Lancaster hit him with a big run, as the Red Devils are known to do. And that's the thing, I think, the margin for error, though there are favorites like With and Patrick Henry. You've seen it. You've been a part of this now for a number of years. A team in Class 2 or Class 1, some of the smaller games, you go on this quarter run, it can change the whole complexion of the game by the time you blink.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was because one of my assistants was watching the first half last night because they played at 6, and obviously we didn't play until 7:30. And he was telling me that Lancaster was up, whatever it was, 6 or 9 at the half. And Northumberland was up at the half. And I said, they're controlling the tempo. And then when I heard the outcome, I said, man, I can't wait to watch it because I want to see what they did different. But at the end of the day, they didn't change a lot in the second half, but they did hit some big shots. And once they got the momentum on their side, everything just started going right for them. And that's what it tends to do in high school basketball. And, just like last night, I was never comfortable. We got up 10, and then, they hit 2 threes back to back, and I could feel the momentum changing. And kids don't understand that 3 ball is an equalizer. And Lancaster is definitely capable of making those runs and hitting some big shots as they did last night. And that's what was able to clinch the Region A for them.
Talking with Robbie Cutchins, head basketball coach of the Franklin Broncos, who are in action in the state quarterfinals coming up in Class 1 on Tuesday as they take on the Northumberland Indians, who are 15-4. You got Lancaster, Alta Vista with Perry McClure, Chilhowie, Patrick Henry, Glade Spring also in the state tournament. Coach, what year is this for you at the helm of Franklin?
I've been the head coach now for 11 years. This is my 21st year at Franklin. I did JV and head assistant for 10 years, which taught me a lot. I was able to sit back and learn a lot about the game, learn a lot about coaching, learn a lot about how to deal with kids. And so I've been a part of a lot of it. We've been knocking on the door. It's been a long time. The last regional championship we won was 2007. So it's been 18 years. And it's, when you get there, it's just like a guy says, it's when it's hard, man, at any level, and you got to savor the moment because you can get there a lot, but you might not get over the hump. So it was a great feeling for everybody involved last night. It really was.
So let me ask you this as a follow-up here before Ed jumps back in. This might not be your most talented or experienced group, but what separated this team from some others to get the region championship? Because you've had some teams right there.
Yeah, we really have. We've had some teams right there. We've had some extremely talented teams, and we ran into some buzzsaws, just like you mentioned with Troy Henderson a few years ago. He was the reason at the state level, and we kind of laid an egg against Alta Vista that year in the regional championship. But it's like I was telling one of the press guys yesterday, man, this group is the culture is big, but the hard work from 1 through 12 with this group is a different level. Getting everybody on the same page year in and year out is obviously always our objective. But you most of the time you're gonna have a majority of your kids that are working day in and day out. But this group here, man, they've showed up since day one, and even early in the season when we were taking them lumps and they were lacing it up, they were going in the film room, they were taking the floor, and they were just continuously asking, what can we do to get better, man? And that's part of the process. I said, hey, it sounds simple, it sounds elementary, but if you guys come to work this hard every day and you put it in, I promise you sooner or later you're gonna reap the rewards.
Absolutely. As we finish up here with Coach Robbie Cutchins of the Franklin Broncos, who are moving on to the state tournament after winning their first region championship since 2007, Ed.
Well, just in general, listen to Robbie talk, looking at that bracket in 1A. I had the pleasure of coaching at Suffolk High School back when I first came to Virginia 1A. And, of course, now with bigger schools after that. And I always listen to people say, well, I don't think they give 1A, even 2A the respect due them. And I think they get this idea bigger is better. And that is, I always tell them, that is extremely false. Because when I was at Suffolk, we played a lot. Back then it was single A, double A, triple A. We played a lot of double A, a lot of triple A. And we won. And the big win was when we beat Booker T. Washington in their state title year, which caused all kind of ramifications. And I remember because when I got the Norview job the next year, I was told you cannot schedule any 2A or 1A schools without permission. I'm like, I didn't know you all had that rule. Well, we just added it because of you. I said, what? Last year when you were at Suffolk High, you beat Booker T. I said, yeah. Booker T caught a lot of flack. I said, first of all, we were pretty damn good. So understand that. And my point to you, Rob, is I look at that bracket. there's some pretty damn good teams there. And I'm not telling you something you don't know, because you're one of those guys that is, and you just said it earlier, you seek out those bigger opponents, summertime, anywhere where you can, non-district, because you can fit in there. Not only fit in, you can beat those teams. And you take away that idea. And I really think psychological, that helps with the kids, because we did that every year. And our kids always look forward to playing bigger teams. Of course, back then in Suffolk, Forest Glen, John F. Kennedy, John Yates were all high schools, and they were all double A's. And we were the single A from the old Pena district that you may remember way back when. And I like to think that still goes on, that, I tell some of the bigger schools this: you don't think they're that good? Schedule them. Of course, then they'll say, well, we're not allowed to play single A. And I always say, because you wouldn't be able to beat some of those single A schools.
Yeah, I think, you're right, man. The mindset of a lot of people, bigger is better in anything and everything you do. And I totally disagree with that. I've seen it in all aspects. I've seen it, from a personal level. I've seen it in business at a professional level. I've seen it at the high school level. And it's like I was telling somebody last night, the greatest thing about sports, obviously in coaching high school basketball, first and foremost, trying to develop young men is what it's all about. A lot of us get lost in the 32 minutes of basketball. This is bigger than basketball for me. But sports is a way to get through it. Sports is a way to get through school. Sports is a way to learn more about life and develop as a young man. However, if you can develop as a young man, we can carry that to the court. You can have success. And building that culture is what I've tried to do for a while now. And the kids buy into that. So then, like you say, when you go to those bigger schools, yes, you may play some that are 2 to 3 times more talented than you. And you may be in the basketball game. On the flip side, you may get drugged, but what can we learn from it? And that's the mindset, as Matt was saying. How do you try to, how do you keep your kids mentally, in tune to what's going on when you have games like that? It's difficult, but that's the beauty of sports, because sports unifies so much, and then when you have success, like we experienced last night, the kids, the city, the fan base, it brings people together. That's the beauty of sports as a whole. And whether you're at the 1A level or the 6A level, you're having success, it brings people together, but it also brings joy to a lot of people, and it makes everlasting memories. Before we left the locker room last night, I said, guys, you don't understand this now, but 20 and 30 years from now, you will be talking about this night, because these are things that a lot of kids will never experience, So there's so many things you can take away from it. And that's the beauty of sports, but the beauty of high school basketball. And I love it at the 1A level, man. I really do.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great season so far. It's not even done yet. You got the state quarterfinals coming up against Northumberland, and we hope to see you March the 14th at VCU. In fact, I spoke with, I told you just in a text last night, Lamar Barrett, former Franklin High standard, who's now an NBA scout, coached college ball for many years. He says he's going to bring a reunion of old Franklin greats if you can make it there on March the 14th. So he's hoping to pack the Siegel Center out with a bunch of Broncos fans and alums there.
I love it, man. And that's, it's a step at a time. We've done the district a handful of times, then we've done the region now. We're trying to knock on the door and get to the state level, man. It's going to happen.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. All the best, Jim. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks again for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
Great job, Robbie. See you soon.
Rob Cutchins of the Franklin Broncos. Coming up after the break, we got Raleigh Axel, the Atlee Raiders, Region 4B champs. They knocked off Verina last night. It's all coming your way next after this quick word from the sponsors that make it possible for us to stream 757.